In your book, you talked about false choices presented to voters. What false choices do you see in recent months?
In recent months? Well, it always seems to be a false choice because they talk about competition between the two parties, and they make it sound like there's a big difference. And everybody keeps arguing, well, should we have the Democrat or should we have the Republican? And yet they support the same policies. Foreign policies have remained the same. We have the Democrats in now, but there's more troops today being sent to Afghanistan. Neither party would talk about getting rid of the Federal Reserve or the income tax. They're the same policy. The policies at home, the domestic welfare policies, are always the same. But the pretense is, oh, there's a big difference. You know, we got to vote for candidate A because if we get candidate B, it's going to be so much different. And they pretend there's a big contest, and there really isn't. And this is the way it's been going for quite a few decades, and that's why things never change. Things stay the same, although the rhetoric is different, but it's all a fraud.
President Obama and Nancy Pelosi, they said that every month we don't have a stimulus bill, 500,000 Americans are going to lose their jobs. Do you have any opinion on that?
Well, I would say every time they come in and talk about a stimulus package or pass one, it looks like we lose 500,000 jobs. And even if that were true, she wouldn't have any idea how to make those predictions. No, it's government intervention that caused our problems. How could her argument that we don't have more government intervention, that you're going to have more unemployment? No, the more government intervention, the more unemployment you're going to have.
In your interview Monday morning on CNN, you stated that this type of policy represented by the stimulus bill will drive the country into a depression. But now that the bill has been passed into law, do you see any way to avoid the depression?
Not yet, because I would say that, in some parts of the country they're in deep depression. In some places there's 18% unemployment, so it's just a matter of spreading. So no, the country is going to continue to suffer, and it's going to continue to spread because they're doing all the wrong things. And instead of liquidating the debt and allowing the prices of homes come down, all we're doing is stimulating everything. They're telling house builders to build more houses and keep prices up. That prevents the correction. So yes, they're doing everything right now that will continue our problems and not resolve them.
How much longer do you see our economy holding on before a catastrophic collapse?
That is unknown, but if we continue to do that, the dollar will quit function, and that'll be catastrophic. That could come with any significant event. The foundation has been eroded and just sort of sitting there, and a major event such as maybe a major military failure, let's say we'd have to leave Afghanistan for military reasons because we just can't handle it anymore. That could send a pretty negative signal to the world, and the world might decide we don't want your dollars anymore. That would be catastrophic. And we're working on that, but the exact day is unknown. It could come in a week, it could come in 3 years or 5 years, for all we know.
Last question, please.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to say to the youth of America to help them prepare for the coming years?
I say get educated, understand how the system works, understand why they can't depend on the government to take care of them from cradle to grave. Assume responsibility for oneself, understand how the marketplace works, why sound money is important, why we don't need an income tax nor a Federal Reserve System, and they'd be better off. Right now, the young people are getting ripped off because they're getting the debt and all the rules and regulations and taxes that have been piled on for many, many decades. That they should look to the Constitution for the guidance, because if we raise up a generation of young people that believe in the Constitution, would enforce it, and they get in charge, things will be much better. And that is where I'm optimistic, because the young people I meet, I'm finding out that they are quite willing to look and assume this responsibility as well as obeying the Constitution.
Thank you so much.
Okay.